Welcome to the Old Man and the Three with JJ Reddick and Tommy Alter, brought to you by 342 Productions. This is episode 143. Daniel Katz, you guys probably know him as Big Cat, came through the studio here in Brooklyn this week.
Finally.
We were initially just going to draft with him, and then it turned out to be a banger of an episode. He's one of the most entertaining people we both know. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. Yep. Your former neighbor.
My former neighbor.
Former neighbor who looked down on your apartment.
He likes to say he looked down on me. I actually was on a higher floor, but his building was maybe 5 feet taller, so he thinks that he was on a higher floor than me.
I will say, as an objective observer, you had a much nicer apartment than he did.
I believe that.
Objectively.
I believe that. I also want to point out that I owned my apartment and he rented his, which he never brings up. We talk with Dan about a bunch of great stuff related to the NBA, sports culture, podcasting culture. There's an entire segment on Joe Burrow, who now I've become obsessed with. I am a Cincinnati Bengals super fan right now as they make this playoff run, hoping to get back to the Super Bowl. And, of course, we have a draft. And honestly, we choose some dumb fucking draft topics sometimes. I thought this was a great draft topic because we actually talked about sports.
Yep. Yeah, it was a great. If anything, we gave away a bunch of good ideas.
I know.
It's almost like giving away money.
We need a co-pro if any of our ideas actually become movies.
We're going to track them down.
Tommy, I called the Golden State-Memphis game last night, took a red eye. I'm here grinding away.
By the way, you deserve a shout-out for this. The audience should know. You got off the plane and started taping. No nap, barely coffee.
I got off the plane. This is, I believe, the third thing we've taped today, this intro. We recorded a podcast, a full episode earlier that will be out in the next week or so with such a great guest. I don't want to give too much away, but we're excited about it. Did some other recording stuff, and now we're doing this. But spectacular game last night. Golden State and Memphis back and forth all game. Memphis gets up 10. Steph and Clay go nuts, and then Jordan Poole hits a big layup. It's one of those things, you go into every game and you're just thinking to yourself, please don't be a blowout in the fourth quarter. And then you get to call a game with a guy like Ryan Ruocco, who's just such a great play-by-play guy. Fantastic experience last night.
Did you think on the game-winning layup that was more the play call or was it a defensive breakdown?
Oh, it was a defensive. Look, Golden State doesn't have any timeouts. So we heard Jordan Poole after the game talking to Roz in his post-game interview saying that Draymond called a play on the fly. Based on their alignment, if you've watched basketball, if you've played basketball at any level, and Klay Thompson starts at the elbow opposite the ball, he's going to come off a stagger screen and run to the corner, which is what they did. Ja Morant did the right thing. He's guarding the inbounder. It's a 1 count, 2 count, protect the rim, and then it's immediately tracking Klay to the corner. Zaire Williams' body position was terrible. Because even if Jordan Poole is coming off the screen initially and it's not Klay coming off the screen, you're still locking and trailing that, and you know Ja's going to be in position to track.
Yeah.
If Klay had curled Jordan Poole, that's Zaire Williams' switch. He's not even in a position to switch. It was just bad body position, which is why having Jaren Jackson Jr. foul out, he made, I thought, 2 fouls in the fourth. The offensive foul on DiVincenzo where he hooks him, and then the loose ball foul going for the rebound where he runs into Draymond Green. You can't have those fouls. He's got to be on the court at the end of the game.
We talked about this after the Christmas game. That's the thing. That's the thing with this team. If he is in the, we maybe not the favorite. We already fought about this. He is strongly in the conversation for being the defensive player of the year this year, assuming he stays healthy, but he needs to be on the court. And he can't, especially against this team, he can't take himself out of the game with dumb fouls.
So Brandon Clark, who I'm he's one of my favorite guys to watch in the NBA. He's just such a team guy, does all the little things. He's not going to wow you with ball handling skills or jump shots, but he's just in the right place at the right time. This is a big stretch for him over the next 3 to 5 weeks with Steven Adams being out with a knee injury. And we're going to see whether or not, and I believe they are, but we're going to see whether or not this team has some resiliency. We've talked about their depth a number of times, but they're on a 4-game losing streak after winning 11 in a row, and I think they've got 1 game left on this road trip. They've got some work to do over the next 3 to 5 weeks because Steven Adams is so valuable for that team. The first game, by the way, I want to talk about the first game real quick of the night. Brooklyn Nets, Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid, Super Troll, both in the game. And on Twitter after, I don't know how he had that montage video.
He doesn't miss. The guy's
so quick.
The guy's 100% since he's joined the league. He's not sent a flop tweet out yet.
It's uncanny. First of all, our game had to start on ESPN News because even though they didn't go to overtime, the game ran late. The first game ran late because Philadelphia shot like 16 free throws in the first quarter. The first quarter took like an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking up at the clock and there's like 55 minutes left on the countdown clock of our game, and they're still at halftime. We're like, whoa, we're not starting on time. But I want to talk about the Sixers because they're 19-4 in their last 23 games. I believe they're top 6 in both offensive and defensive efficiency at this point. Just 2 games back in the loss column of the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference. They're starting to look like a true contender right now.
Yeah.
Not only in the East, but to win it all.
Are they, as of today, do you feel they're Boston's biggest threat?
I do, Tommy. And I'm sorry for the long pause, but I had to really think about this.
Very traumatic.
Milwaukee, briefly. Chris Middleton, that's a question mark. I'm not questioning Chris Middleton, the player, but dealing with these injuries and hasn't looked like himself, although he played well the other night in Detroit. That's a concern. Well, Milwaukee's shooting in general has been very inconsistent. Giannis is going to get 2 and 3 defenders. They've got to be able to knock down shots in a playoff series. Brooklyn is awesome. And with Kevin, they had an amazing stretch. Struggled a little bit, although they had a big win at Golden State over the weekend. Struggled a little bit without Kevin. That's to be expected given that he's your best player and he's so impactful on both ends of the floor. Philadelphia right now, I was looking this up today, is at plus 1,400 on DraftKings to be the NBA champion. They currently have the 8th best odds in the league. That feels a little low. That feels like a value play to me.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Nets are at plus 600. And what's interesting is how much the Nets have oscillated over the last 6 to 8 months. They opened back in May when this year's championship odds opened. They opened at plus 450. By July 4th, when Kevin Durant was asking for a trade, they were at plus 3,000. In a single day, the ultimatum day on August 8th, they dropped from plus 1,400 to plus 700 when Durant said he was coming back. And they've kind of stayed around there. They were as high as plus 1,200 at December 1st. They feel like a real championship level team, and I'll tell you why. Nick fucking Claxton. His development this year, his progression, both ends of the floor, he should absolutely be in consideration for one of the all-defensive teams. I've heard a number of smart people around the NBA say he should be potentially an all-star. He probably won't get it because I don't think they get 3 all-stars in, but he's having an all-star season. Yeah.
Do you feel like they still need a little depth in the front court, though? I know they've been linked to like Naz Reid, for example, a couple other guys, but just adding a piece, it doesn't have to be a star, but just a piece of the deadline.
They need another big. I think that. Was having a conversation with someone yesterday. I'm not going to disclose who it was, but someone that follows the Nets closely. And we were discussing Seth and Joe because you can never have enough shooting, but to me it feels like one of those guys potentially could be expendable if you were going to make a trade. Seth, so good last night against his former team and his father-in-law, Doc Rivers. But again, he's an undersized guard like Kyrie. So we saw how much size matters in that Boston series last year. Joe, in theory, is a bigger defender, a bigger wing player. So maybe you don't want to get rid of him, but I don't. That's a tough decision. If you decide one of those guys becomes expendable to get a difference maker inside, I think they have enough wing depth. T.J. Warren, Ben Simmons, Royce O'Neal, Kevin Durant. It's a lot of size on the wing defensively, and I do think that's the position of need. Claxton is a clear starter, clear star level player, but to have a little more flexibility given a Joel Embiid matchup, given a Giannis matchup in the playoffs, I think that's important.
All right, here's a Philly question for you. Since December 5th, Joel's averaging 35.7 points a game, 10.2 rebounds, 4.1 assists, 65% true shooting. He's 5th in our favorite thing, Raptor, as of today. If this team stays hot, Boston has a couple injuries, for whatever reason, they sneak into the 1 seed, he has to be in that MVP, in that top 3 MVP conversation.
I think it'd be the funniest thing. Not funny to Joel. I think it'd be hilarious, though, in some way, if Jokic wins, Joel is second again.
I will say this.
That would be insane.
I will say this. I'm not an MVP voter. I don't think I will be one for the foreseeable future. If they're the 1 seed and he keeps up like this, he should be the MVP, I think.
He's playing like an MVP, but he played like an MVP last year. And he played like an MVP.
Yeah.
Like, this is what Joel is. And the markers of great teams, right? Efficient on both sides of the ball. Do you have a real difference maker, a top 5 player? Philly has that. Tommy, really interesting thing about Philly on DraftKings Sportsbook. They have 30% of all money bet on them to win the East. That's the most money bet on any team to win the East. Philly does. Just 12% of the total bets, but in terms of money bet. So there's some sharks out there, some really savvy bettors that are saying Philly's the team, which I find to be interesting. I still think Boston's the best team. I would love to see those two teams in the playoffs.
When I throw down on the NBA action, it's got to be with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Take a shot at an even bigger payout with DraftKings Friday Night Favorites. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app using code JJ, opt in, and place a 2-leg pregame moneyline parlay, and you'll get a 50% profit boost. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code JJ. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
Tommy, before we get to Big Cat, a couple notes. As a reminder, our weekly show, The Old Man and the Three Things, where we discuss Shannon Sharp's cardigan this week, that is available.
By the way, people seem to really love that conversation.
Yeah, it's available exclusively on Amazon Music. We have a newsletter, very easy to subscribe to. A Farewell to Takes, lots of interesting stuff in there. And as we mentioned on social media, we are doing our 4th live podcast show in my favorite city, New Orleans. This will be on February 9th at 8 p.m. There are tickets still available. We are going to be live from the Civic Theater. We have announced one guest, Jose Alvarado. We have locked up a second guest already. We're going to wait a little bit of time to announce that guest.
The show's going to be crazy.
The show's going to be awesome. I'm picturing us up there with a cocktail, maybe some wood-grilled oysters throughout the show, maybe a po' boy.
Collard green melt. Possibly.
Maybe a collard green melt. I don't know if Turkey and the Wolf stays open that late on a Thursday, but we're going to ask Mason. We'll see. All right, let's get to our conversation with Dan Katz, a.k.a. Big Cat. One thing real quick. Put this in right at the beginning. And, of course, for those of you that don't know and have been living under a rock, Dan is the co-host of Pardon My Take, along with PFT commentator, also Eric, which is, I gas him up a little bit, but it is arguably the most popular sports podcast in the world. It's way more popular than ours. There's a little bit of jealousy, of course, between Dan and I, which we've riffed on a lot.
We hash out in the next hour.
All right, let's welcome in Dan Katz, a.k.a. Big Cat, from one of the most popular podcasts in the entire world, Pardon My Take. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. That was a beautiful intro. I like that.
Also,
can do with it.
Can we add coffee magnet?
Coffee
powerhouse?
tycoon. What? How do you become a tycoon? What's the level of like wealth you need to be a tycoon, or is it just you need to have a mustache and a cane?
I think you got to have a B in front
And like
of
be
your
like
bank
a
account.
union buster. That's when you become a tycoon. Something like that.
I feel like look-wise, it wouldn't take you much to get
Yeah.
there. Just shave the beard.
All right, so I got to become a tycoon.
Is it magnate or magnet?
Magnet?
It's not magnet.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Listen, you guys already have me off my game. I'm playing a back-to-back. This is Monday morning at 10 a.m. I went to sleep at 2 last night because we tape after the games. So if I were JJ in his little basketball league, I would have taken a day off for load management, but I'm here. And I'll go back-to-back, no problem.
Works really hard.
Get up there.
I played in back-to-backs. Don't do that.
All the time?
Yeah, just
Okay.
about.
Okay.
I mean, later on in my career, when I'm 37, yeah, maybe I sat a back-to-back out here and there once or twice.
Why don't they just make the season a little bit shorter?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
If there was a way, seriously, if there was a way you could get it to like 58 games, you play everybody twice, exactly balanced schedule.
Yep.
Don't lose any money.
Yep.
Who says no?
So I get boxed into this spot because I love basketball. I love college basketball. I love NBA. But the NBA regular season, it's hard for me to get into other than watching the Bulls because it's like half the teams they're not trying every single night. They don't have all their players. Some of those injuries, like wake me up in April when all the teams are a finished product and it will be great. Playoff basketball is incredible. But
I want to just, I was thinking about this yesterday,
Okay.
actually. I don't know why it was on my mind, the load management issue.
yeah,
Because some of it is player driven, some of it is team driven, performance staff driven. I was thinking about what has changed? What has changed that this has become such an emphasis? I do think a big factor in this actually is the amount of investment that owners and teams are making in players.
Yep.
Where they're taking such a long-term view. We're investing $250 million in this guy.
Yeah.
We need him healthy in April, May, and June.
Right.
That's the important thing.
But
The important thing is not the Tuesday night game in Charlotte. And that sucks as a fan.
Right.
I get it.
Right. But I still think that it's the Stan Van Gundy tweet when he didn't understand what Kevin Durant was saying. Like something is wrong because the answer to getting everyone healthy can't be just not playing and not practicing. You know what I mean? That feels counterintuitive. I understand if you have a pre-existing injury and it's like back-to-back nights, why would you? Of course you're going to want to sit out your guys, but like just sitting out just because you played last night, like that game, the Warriors played the Celtics and then the Warriors went to Cleveland and
They played nobody.
the entire Warriors team was just sat out.
Yeah.
It's like, but are these guys injured? Like, is there a reason? It's just sit out.
I think, too, for me in my career, I remember those back-to-backs, like the ones where you're like, wish I had tonight off.
Right.
And then you just grind it. I remember there was one, we got into Portland, played in L.A., second night was in Portland, and we got into the hotel at 3 or 4 in the morning. We're like exhausted. We're undermanned. I remember before the game, like Chris and I looking at each other in the locker room and be like, whatever you got tonight, just give me whatever you got.
Yeah.
And we pulled out a win. He had a big game. I had a big game. Like that was a key moment in our friendship,
Yeah.
in our bond as teammates.
Yeah.
It certainly was a key moment in terms of building my own mental resolve.
Yeah. Winning when you don't have your A game.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing today.
You think it's a
So
little
I'm just
different?
letting you guys know I'm on the back-to-back. The whole
he's already
roundabout way was that I'm on a
Is he
back-to-back.
making
He's
excuses
making
for the
No.
draft?
excuses
No,
already.
no, no,
He's
no,
already
no.
making excuses.
Listen, my draft, I'm going to say it. My draft is going to be exceptional. My draft won't, I don't know if are there polls afterwards to
Yes.
see who
Yeah.
won?
Yes.
Yeah.
I won't win the polls, but I'll win the hearts of America.
We have a judge, basically.
Okay.
His name is Ryan Cohen,
Okay.
and he is the be all and end all when it comes to who wins the draft.
Where
He
do you-
decides. And
Extremely
he-
detailed.
Where did he go to college?
recaps.
where did Ryan Cohen go to college?
Yeah.
I don't know. He lives in Philadelphia.
He lives in
though.
Philadelphia as a lawyer,
Oh,
but
okay,
I
down
actually
there.
don't know where he went to college.
Okay.
Brian, I'm sorry. If you've told me before, Ryan,
Well, I
I
was going to
apologize.
say, if he went to Duke, then I'm already out. I probably won't win this draft.
Can you explain why Hemingway was a stoolie? Because you told us. That
Oh yeah,
walking
so
in.
I saw you guys are trying to do this pseudo intellectual thing where it's like, hey, we're talking about sports, but we're we do it differently. That was kind of mean. No, I watched All Quiet on the Western Front on Friday night. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. It's a great World War I movie. I watched it because I love watching movies that I've read the book, so I can just be like, book was better, because I haven't read many books. So it's very small amount. Like Michael Lewis has done a good job for me, where every book he writes becomes a movie. I watched it. I was confused the whole time. At the end of the movie, I was thinking of Farewell to Arms. That's the book I read.
Yes.
So
There's a lot of book drops.
Do you know what the name of our newsletter is?
no.
A Farewell to Takes.
Oh,
Yeah.
why are we saying farewell to takes?
I have to say, Dan is the first guest we've had on in studio who's come in and immediately started bragging about how much he reads.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't read. I have only read a few books, and I tried to watch a movie of one of the few books I have read, and it turned out that it backfired.
So far today, both on camera and off camera,
Yeah,
he's
literally
bragged about his coffee business.
I did not.
He's bragged about his betting exploits.
Tommy bragged about the coffee business on behalf of me. He was like, "Hey, JJ."
Take your shot at turning buckets into big cash with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. They're my go-to for hoops action, whether it's building out same-game parlays, betting on player props, or exploring the futures market. DraftKings is where I place my bets.
Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly, win or lose.
I've got my eye on that Orlando-Miami game on Friday night. Orlando playing some really great basketball might be just a $5 moneyline bet for me. Download the app now and sign up with code JJ. New customers bet $5 on the NBA and get $200 in free bets instantly. That's code JJ, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Y'all, I want to introduce you to our newest partner, Athletic Greens. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens every day, and I gotta be honest, I don't know if I'll ever go back. I initially gave AG1 a try because it really helps me with my energy levels, especially on these long shoot days, and again, just better overall digestive health. It's comprehensive health and the power of habit all in one.
Covering my nutritional basis for the day couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning. Done. And it's actually pretty tasty. The best part is it costs less than $3 a day. Pretty good if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. Win-win.
If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/oldman. That's athleticgreens.com/oldman. Check it out.
I have two sports related questions, and I know Tommy has some questions about your own personal history that we want to get to.
Okay.
I have one NFL question and one NBA question. My NFL question is, if the Bengals win the Super Bowl, is Joe Burrow immediately the most popular player in the NFL? And is he potentially the most popular athlete in America?
Okay. Yes, he is definitely the most popular player in the NFL if they win the Super Bowl. In terms of most popular in America, the NFL, it feels like, do you think the NFL has the same Q rating as basketball players? I don't think it does. I think even the most, like Tom Brady is probably the exception. Maybe you'd throw in like a Peyton Manning. And so Joe Burrow could get there because he's a quarterback. But it doesn't feel like quarterback or NFL players, everyone knows who LeBron James is, right?
Steph.
Yeah. Maybe a few more, but do you think that like someone, I don't know, in like North Dakota definitely knows who Joe Burrow is? I don't know.
It feels like he's already in some ways a legend.
Yeah.
It feels like he's building a legend.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
I mean,
a lot of it is the persona. He's essentially had this rise during the social media era. And because the GIFs and the memes with him are just so perfect, and he's good looking. Like you said, he's a quarterback. He's got a personality.
He's a good guy.
He has a chance.
Yeah.
It also goes back to college too.
Yeah.
LSU
I mean, the cigar at LSU, like that slow motion video that probably got watched 25 million times.
We it's one of my favorite moments in like Pardon My Take history. We interviewed him the next morning. We were all just bombed.
I went out with you. I went out with you guys that night.
Yeah, we were so drunk afterwards, and it was so much fun.
That was one of the last crazy nights pre-COVID. That was January 2020.
Yes, it was. Yeah, you're
Who
right.
was with us? It was Priscilla was there.
And then I think Anthony Rizzo was there, which was very funny. And then all of us.
And then
I want to say Chris Long was there too.
And Steve.
Stanford Steve. Yeah, that was a fun time. Yeah, so Joe Burrow's a legend. He's a legend. Will he become more popular than Patrick Mahomes? Huh.
That was the one guy that I kind of.
I think he would.
Yeah, I think he would too.
I think he would. Now, it's with all of sports, we'll just wait to tear someone down, so that will happen too. But yeah, I think, and who is not obviously Joe Burrow, like football, basketball, it's hard to compare him, even though he did say he would get 18 points, I think, in an NBA game, which I loved when he said that, but I actually believe him because he's Joe Burrow. Who had that type of quiet confidence? Like, that's the thing that always is crazy about Joe Burrow to me. If you've ever played any team sport or been in any like office setting, anything, there's always one person who has that quiet confidence that you look to when shit goes south. And it's like, well, if we got them, we're okay. Who is that for you?
Luka.
Yeah?
Luka.
It's just like, okay, he's got it. Don't worry.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, never afraid of any moment. Never going to back down. There's no agenda other than trying to win the moment.
Right. And then it builds you up too, right?
Yeah,
like, because you,
sure. I mean, I played 8 games because I was hurt.
Yeah, but the confidence that someone like that, like, I think Joe Burrow's confidence and his unflappability then leads his teammates to feel the same type of superpower.
Do you also think it's partially confidence and also partially Luke is the same way? They just make it look so easy.
That too. I would say so. Yeah.
Like, he doesn't ever look like he never. I mean, he never looks flustered.
Yeah, I like that word unflappability.
Yeah,
I don't know if it is a word. I know unflappable is a word.
I'm gonna go for it. Like, I think it is a word, but yeah, it's
pseudo-intellectual bullshit.
It's just
he's a reader.
Yeah, I read. I haven't read a book in so I buy books. You know what I do? I buy books, and I just have a bunch of books. I'm like, I'm gonna read this, and then I never get past like a chapter.
I can't wait to
see all those books behind you.
Yeah, have you read them all?
Not a one.
I can't wait till he has like a publishing house.
Dude, you know what? Do you have Infinite Jest? That's the hack. Anyone who has Infinite Jest, I'm convinced they never actually read it. They just have it on their fucking. You know? Do you know what I'm talking about? That book.
If you were walking into an arena, what book would you have under your arm?
Oh, to the first page. To the first page. Godfather. LeBron. He's gonna get through it. He's gonna get through the Godfather. Maybe like a comic book or something. Maybe like one of my kids' books. Children's books, like, they're really good now. I read some of them. Like, this is a
Captain
good book.
Underpants,
Yeah.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah,
like
they're good.
Read them with my kids. They're awesome.
Right, and I count that as books that I read.
Who do you want to see in the NBA Finals? We were talking about this last night.
Okay, so I have to remember, because what I'm doing this year is I'm trying to give out every combination of teams so that I can clip the one clip. So I think I've given out 3 combination of teams on Pardon My Take. I'm just trying to remember. I think the last one I gave out was Suns over Nets. So let's go. I'm literally just doing every permutation down the list so that I can have that clip and be like, I know ball. I would like to see, let's go Warriors over Sixers. I don't think I've done Sixers yet, but I would like to see Luka in the finals. I am a big Luka fan.
What about Joker?
Yeah, I like Djokovic too. It's just more I get fatigue when
Jokic.
Djokovic is a tennis player. See, this is my back-to-back game.
Turnover.
Well, he said Joker, and I was like, Djokovic. I love watching him play. He's so much fun because he impacts every aspect of the game, and like, he doesn't have to score if he doesn't want to.
Yeah,
like, he can just be out there passing and rebounding, getting everything. He's so much fun. I get a little fatigue when a team gets a 1 seed or has regular season success and doesn't make that deep run. I need to see them make a deep run.
We were talking about this last night. I'm curious what you think with Jokic in particular, because he's probably on his way right now to win his 3rd straight MVP. His number, he breaks records every year.
I don't think he will.
Well, I want to hear the reason why you don't think he will, but he breaks records every year. He is just like, talk about making it look easy. It's insane. But nobody knows who he is because he doesn't talk, he doesn't do commercials, and he plays in Denver. Do you think that matters? Like, to the casual fan, him not having a presence, does it make a difference when Are they going to be mad at him winning his third MVP when they're like, we know nothing about this guy?
I mean, you can't really think about it that way just because the casual fans are casual fans by nature, and I think it doesn't really change anything if they did know him. I think he's not going to win the third MVP because I think that voters are human, and like what I just said, the Nuggets, they did go to the Western Conference Final, in the bubble? The Nuggets not going deep in the playoffs, voters get fatigue, and they're like, and this is not right. I'm not saying this is right. I think he deserves the MVP. That's why, Karl Malone, or that's a bad example, but that's why you see how the MVP votes work. And like every year that LeBron has played, he hasn't won the MVP because voters get fatigued. Like Michael Jordan should have won an MVP every single year in the 90s. Like there's certain levels of just the human element where they like the new thing. So they're probably going to vote for Luka, wouldn't you say?
Over Tatum?
Oh, you think Tatum's the MVP?
I think it's Tatum and Jokic right now.
So not Luka.
That's what I said.
So not Luka. I'm going to bet Luka now. Listen, I also will just admit that I'm still in football mode. So like my basketball takes are a little rusty, but I'm going to go Luka. I'll pick Luka.
You did call the two-time MVP Jokic.
Well, it's 10 in the morning. I went to sleep.
Right.
I slept for 4 hours.
He's a coffee guy.
I'll give you a break.
Anymore.
I'll give you a break on this next question then, because you are in the middle of football and you're grinding away.
I'm grinding tape.
Post-game, podcast. I get it, man.
You guys, listen, you would not. Are you guys going to be podcasting at 3 in the morning in the NBA Finals?
We have done some
3 in the morning
post-game stuff. Not 3 a.m. Okay. 3 a.m. Some YouTube live stuff.
Yeah.
Besides Shannon Sharp's cardigan, do you have a favorite storyline of the NBA season?
Well, is LeBron just the biggest hypocrite of all time? Can we just say that real quick?
Why?
Being like, I ride with Shannon Sharp 365, 366 on a leap year. All that stuff. Like,
I don't think that makes him a hypocrite. It's his boy.
You think
he kicks people out of games for saying things to him on the sidelines.
It's his friend.
No. You can't do both.
I don't think
you can't do both. You can't say, "Oh, this guy."
It's not
like
LeBron's fault. That's on the league.
No, but you can't say, "Don't step to Shannon Sharp," like and tweet. Like if "Don't fuck with me" was a mood, and then also when you have a game in Indiana in February and someone's like, "LeBron, you're overrated," be like, "Get these people out of here." You can't. There was a lot of
it's a fair point.
There was a lot of conversation about how fans interact with players, which I'm all for, because I do think there should be more of a separation. Like there was some shit that went down. It was right after COVID when fans were kind of trying to figure out, how do we be humans again? And I'm on the player's side, like throwing stuff, spitting, like family members, all that stuff is completely off the limits. But Shannon Sharp was like, if he's a regular guy, what's LeBron saying then? If that's not Shannon Sharp, if that's just a regular dude and he's talking shit to LeBron that way, do you think LeBron's that's okay?
But if that's LeBron's friend, I think he still defends him the same way.
Just saying.
I think it's on the league for letting a famous person stay. The league would not have let a random jack dude sitting on the sidelines who tries to fight a whole team. That guy's not staying in the game.
If we're trying to be better about fan-player interaction, we got to be consistent. I'm just saying this is also
your favorite storyline of the NBA season. Is
I wanted LeBron's a hypocrite. I have a long-standing idea that there should be every single player in every single sport gets to fight one fan a year, and they get to call him out from the stands, and the threat of violence. So you could just like pick it'd be a small dude just talking shit to you, and you're like, come out here and get your ass whooping.
Is there an age limit for this or a minimum age requirement?
12 years old. You can't beat up anyone under 12 years old. That's fair, I think.
Have you done the Bussin' with the Boys pod?
Yes.
How many 12-year-olds did you say it would take to kill you?
I don't think they asked me that question.
Oh, they asked me that at the end.
I don't know.
I said 20.
Yeah, that seems about right. Because there's
12 kids that have like hit early puberty.
Yeah, right. And
20 seems.
And they have like they know how to hit a baseball. They know how to shoot. Like, that seems about right. 20. All right. So favorite storyline. I don't know. You guys tell me, because I haven't really watched the NBA besides the Bulls. The Bulls should blow it up. There's the favorite storyline. The Bulls are right back to exactly where they started when this whole thing, shifted when Gar and Pax got fired. So that's my favorite storyline. Blow the whole thing up.
Where do you want the Bears to pick this year in the first round? What number?
4. Trade with the Colts.
So just one trade down.
Yeah.
Pick. So not like 12.
No. 4. Oh, I have my favorite storyline. Victor Wembanyama is the GOAT. That's my favorite storyline.
Magic called him the greatest basketball player alive the other day
He did?
in a tweet. Yeah.
I love Magic's Twitter so much.
It's so good.
Is this?
It's
I
the
don't follow.
best.
Is this Twitter still the same?
Oh, it's so good. If you just if you like lost your cable or don't have internet, but you still have cell service and you want to be kept abreast to anything that happened between 48 hours and 48 to 72 hours ago, Magic Johnson's your follow.
Is he the
like
best,
he's gonna tweet?
Is he the best sports tweeter?
He's the funniest in my mind. It's Monday morning. He's gonna tweet it in like probably within the next few hours. It's going to be tough for the Chiefs to overcome Patrick Mahomes' injury. Like he just went down with an ankle. He's so late on everything. It's awesome. He's so late.
I was thinking about this today. Who, like, if Twitter goes away, which probably will happen in some capacity this year.
Oh, you think Elon's taking it from you, Tommy? Come on.
Yeah,
Elon's not taking it from you.
I was so depressed in November. I
love all the people
who saving all my old tweets.
My favorite people were the people who did their like goodbyes on Twitter. It's been fun, guys. Met some great people here. It's like,
meet me over here.
Shut the fuck up. You're going to be back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when you open your eyes.
You didn't post a link to your Mastodon?
Yeah, right. Like, you're going to be right back here. You were addicted to this hellscape just like all of us.
It is funny. It's like every single person who did that are the people who are going to be the last ones off the ship.
Yeah. We're all addicted to this stupid site.
And it's like the people that everyone else just leaves.
Yeah.
They just like go on with their life.
Right. Exactly. So wait, what were you going to say?
Best sports Twitter follows.
Ooh. I don't know. That's tough. Who would be?
You're pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate
that. You
that.
can't pick yourself, but you're pretty good.
I pick myself. Sports Twitter follow. I like, I'll shout out No Context College Football. Those are my guys. They're very funny. That's just like screen grabs. Also, there's this account called the Sickos Committee that just tweets out like the worst football games as they're being played. Like, so when Iowa plays Northwestern, or I think Iowa played Rutgers and the over-under was like 29. And it's just like, this is going to be just gross to watch. That kind of stuff. So yeah, there's some good Twitter accounts out there.
I want to give a shout out, by the way, Tommy, while we're on this topic. I want to give a shout out to 2 accounts on Twitter that I use quite frequently. I love advanced stats. I love analytics and stuff.
What's your favorite one?
Tommy's favorite one is Raptor, which is 538's all-encompassing stat for NBA players. B-Ball Index and NBA University. They are what StatMuse should have been. StatMuse veered completely into troll territory.
Yeah.
Both of those accounts are so valuable.
Yeah.
If you're an NBA fan, casual NBA fan, you can learn a lot. They do these like headshot plots, different, with an X and Y, it's axis. Dude, it's sick. You actually can capture what you're seeing with your eyes. There's ways to capture it with analytics. And that's when the eye test and the analytics match up. I love it. It's perfect.
I have a question about the NBA. All right, so here's the biggest storyline. Will defense ever come back? And I know your take, and I actually agree with you. The offense has gotten so crazy. It's not that teams aren't playing defense, but it has gotten insane. Like where, just as a gambler, just looking at it, the over-unders are like in the 240s and no one blinks. It's insane the scoring in the league. Do you think there'll ever be a correction back towards lower scoring? I hope not, but I'm just wondering, like, because it does feel pretty insane, some of these games and where they're scoring.
I think it would have to be a rule change.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be a rule change because the philosophy around good shot, bad shot, high value shot, low value shot, that's not going to change. We have decades of historical data on that, and that's not going to change. Players are going to continue to become more and more skilled. Mentioned Wembanyama, like this guy coming in is going to change. He's going to change the game.
Yeah.
He's going to change the game.
He's a freak.
So I think a rule change. So an example, some form of, hand checking never existed in the scoring area anyway. So it's a dumb thing, but some form of being able to play more with your hands in the scoring area.
Yeah.
Because nobody's posting up. So it's like,
well, what about that? What if we did?
I think it's defensive, like getting rid of defensive 3 seconds where Rudy Gobert could just sit in the paint.
Yeah.
When you're playing 5 out and like now all of a sudden you don't have that slot drive. You can't attack that slot drive because he's just standing there.
What if we make like, it's like the Norman Dale Hoosiers rule that every possession has to have at least one post touch? That would be fun. Every dad in America would be like, finally. Back to fundamentals.
part of this too, specifically with this year, part of this too is the best players, their usage rates are all pretty much across the board the highest of their careers. So it feels like some of the philosophy here is when I have Kevin Durant on the floor, like he should touch it every possession. Luka does that on steroids.
Right.
It's like I'm going to control every offensive possession. So I think some of it is that as well. Think about the Bulls, man. The Bulls are in a triangle. They intentionally took the ball out of Michael Jordan's hands.
Yeah.
On offensive possessions.
Yeah.
And they were all bunched together in the paint. They were all bunched together.
It is crazy watching.
And then 90s back, like to a degree because of hand checking was more physical. But think about you're watching Pacers Bulls in the playoffs, and it's Mark Jackson slowly bringing the ball up.
Yeah.
Rick Smits posting up.
Running sets that are like very slow. Like one guy comes up.
Derek McKee spotting up at 16 feet. Dale Davis and the dunkers. Like,
no, I'm not. The game is incredible right now. Yeah. The level of shot making is like blows my mind because I'm a huge college basketball fan as well, and it's funny watching college basketball and then flipping to an NBA game, and it's just like it's not even the same. I love college basketball because I just love the history and the games mean a lot in January. But man, if you just went back and forth, switching back and forth between a college basketball game and an NBA game, it's stupid watching like how many shots they miss in college basketball versus the shot making in the NBA. It's insane.
Didn't somebody give you shit about that last year?
Oh yeah, he said if NBA, I'm not going to give.
What?
I'm not going to give it any more.
What did he say?
Time.
Some random guy was going in about. He basically was saying college basketball was better than the NBA.
Because they try on defense.
Oh, that's it's guys. Yeah. College basketball, I know it's not a great product to watch. I like watching it because I like close games that mean something in January because the regular season means something more so than the NBA. But kids are just missing wide open shots. You're just watching missed shots the whole time. It's not a great product.
It's also frustrating as a basketball fan and someone who has seen the NBA specifically change the philosophy around offense and around spacing and around strategy of, all right, what's important here? How do you create a good shot? And then to watch a college basketball game. I was with Kelsey Plum on Tuesday in Vegas. We were doing some, filming something. And we were talking about this because think about how many possessions when you watch a college basketball game is just passing around the perimeter.
Yes.
And then it gets to 7 seconds on the clock. And then like, all right, let's run an action.
Yeah.
It's like, no, just start the possession with an action with your best player and with the ball in his hands, create 2 on the ball, play from there.
Yeah.
Like, that's basketball.
Yeah.
And they don't do it. It's frustrating.
They don't do it. And guys,
why are we still running flex in 2023?
Guys can't hit open shots. It's but I still love watching it because it's
because you're a masochist. I get it.
No, it's because I love the history of it and I love the tournament and the rivalries and watching close games are fun in the middle of January when it feels like it means something. I'll never ever say that college basketball is even close to the NBA in terms of just like pure basketball playing. I just like watching close games in the middle of January that means something.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
I have a biographical question for you before we draft. I feel like we have a lot of people that watch the show or listen to the show, whatever, that are fans of yours.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to look back at your career and you want to describe it, what do you think you did right that you didn't realize at the time you were doing?
That's a very good question. Damn, good question. Did you bring any good questions? What's the storyline of the NBA this year? I would say, I know. I like this. That's why I love JJ. I would say the one thing, and you guys do a really good job at this too, and I think anyone who wants to get into this world, it's very hard right now. It's very cluttered. Just being consistent with what you put out there is something that seems very easy, but gets lost by a lot of people. So, hey, every single day you're going to wake up, you're going to see me produce this, this, and this. Whether, started as blogging, moved to podcasting. It's like PFT and I, we've never, outside of like the holidays, you know what I mean? Like Labor Day and like, we don't miss shows. You know what I mean? There's never a show that we're like, hey, we're not feeling it. No. We do the shows. Like even when we go on vacation, all right, what can we bank that we can put out while we're on vacation? and having that like consistency, always being there for people, I think makes you part of their routine and then makes it bigger than it, I could ever have imagined. So I would say the consistency.
I love that answer because I'm sure, Tommy, you get asked this question too, you know, about how do you make a podcast good? And I'm like, you just got to do it.
Do it.
Over and over and over again. Your listeners knew they would wake up this morning and on their commute to work, you would have put out a podcast about yesterday's NFL games.
Yeah,
And by the way, kudos to you for doing it at 3 a.m. You're better than we are.
Thank you. Appreciate
You're better
that.
than we are. That's why your podcast is way better than ours. More successful.
That's not true. You guys are good. You guys are really good. But no, that being consistent for the people who want to listen, and there's shows that aren't the best. There's interviews that aren't the best. It's all goes ebbs and flows. You can't be the funniest, best, most insightful podcast, episode every single time, but just being consistent and saying like, hey, here's what we got. We're going to put our effort into it. We're going to enjoy what we do. Has, made it, helped us get to where we are today. Because a lot of people try to start a podcast and they're like, all right, I tell my best story, episode 1. Now what?
Yeah. Well, that's something I think about all the time with podcasting, which is basically, if you told me I had to make 20 shows we had to make 20 shows in a year, we'd put out 20 bangers.
Right.
20 classics.
Right.
And we can't put out 20 shows. We have to put out 1 a week at least, plus our old man and the 3 things. So basically 2 a week, every week.
Yeah.
Week after week after week, year after year. There's no other way to do it. You can't build an audience that way. I tried to do it at The Ringer, doing 20 to 25 a year, and it's impossible.
Right.
You can't build an audience.
You have to be part of people's lives.
Yeah.
And you have to be, that's the other part, is just knowing that people view you as a friend, even though you don't know them. And I take that very seriously. And I also I'll never try to take advantage of the fact that people are investing their time in listening to me talk, a guy who's, objectively pretty stupid. And I don't take that for granted. So yeah, I'd say that too, where it's like knowing that people are investing their time in listening and consuming your content, and making sure that you put in the effort and are always showing up for them.
I also will say what makes you guys so great is the 3 of you are exactly the same people.
Yeah.
The show.
Yeah.
You're not acting. You don't come on and like put on this like performance voice like so many people like on TV do. It's literally just like the energy you have like when you start taping is the exact same energy off.
Yeah. We oftentimes have to be like, all right, stop talking to each other, like save for the show, because we'll just start doing the show as we're sitting there and like watching games. So yeah, no, that is true. And just remembering that at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing that's, at least for Pardon My Take, is just remembering that sports are supposed to be fun. People take sports there's way too many people who take sports way too seriously. And like even the back and forth joking about like college basketball, NBA, people get like actually upset that someone would say that they want to watch a college basketball game over an NBA game. It's like, sports are fun. You can like it all. It's okay. We all enjoy it. And like, don't take it too seriously. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, dude, I'm on a plane and somebody, is like, hey, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, well, I work in media now, but I used to play in the NBA or whatever. Like, oh, I don't really follow the NBA. I'm a hockey guy. Like, I don't take offense. Like, great. Like, good. I'm glad you found a sport that you like. That's awesome.
But people get legitimately upset about it. They legitimately get upset about it. So yeah, I think just always realizing that life is hard enough that you shouldn't take things too seriously. A lot of people cover sports now and take it way too seriously. Has been big for us.
Love that.
Did you know the average person has around 12 paid subscriptions?
I did not.
Think about that. If you think you're only subscribed to a handful of services, you might want to double check. With Rocket Money, you can quickly identify and cancel all of your unwanted subscriptions. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills, all in one place.
Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about, like that streaming service you bought to watch just one show on, or that free trial that you never even used. Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions for you, so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want. Simply find the subscription you don't want and press cancel, and Rocket Money will cancel it for you. No more long hold times with customer service or tedious emailing back and forth. Rocket Money makes canceling subscriptions as easy as a click of a button. Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person up to $720 a year.
Tommy, I downloaded the app several months ago, found several unwanted subscriptions, and I've saved several $100s because of that. Stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/JJ. That's rocketmoney.com/JJ. rocketmoney.com/JJ.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to draft. But friendly reminder, Dan was part of our first ever draft that we did. That was during COVID.
Is that our first ever draft?
First ever draft. And I thought the draft was people we would like to quarantine with. And it was people like characters from television shows or movies. And I thought it was real people. So I came to the table with 5 non-fictional people.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
that, the one with Russillo?
It was
Yeah.
Russillo, yeah.
Yeah. You screwed that up.
Yep. Tommy still hasn't gotten better at drafting, but
That's not
I feel like I've made some improvements.
Okay, so I have some picks that I know that your audience, I would assume there's probably some people, shout out to people listening right now who are like, this guy's a fucking moron. We hate him. No, there's definitely some people because you guys do a classy show and I'm not a classy
No, dude,
guy.
you're a reader.
You bring
What are you
in,
talking
you
about?
basically bring like an alley cat into the house and I'm starting to scratch up the couch and make a mess and everyone's like, oh,
you're the
get
most
him out of here.
intellectual guest we've had on in months, if not years.
So I know there's people who probably are like, this guy's the worst. So do you, like, there's certain ones I picked that I don't know if people are going to be very offended or
Keeps
anything.
couching this.
I know.
You know, how about you just?
I would like to see a documentary about.
This is your number one pick.
No. This is not my number one pick because I think that your listeners are going to be like, this guy's so crass. So I'm just throwing this out there. I would like to see a documentary about the Phoenix Suns getting sucked off in that hotel room.
What?
I would.
You want to see a full documentary? about
Yeah,
that?
why not?
I don't even know what you're referencing.
You know what I'm referencing,
I don't know what you're
JJ.
referencing.
JJ.
I actually don't think you would want to see a documentary about that. That's a.
I guarantee you
That's
I
like
would.
a-
So this is my
that's
point.
like
I
what did
want
I
to
miss?
That's
What
like
did
a
I miss?
10-minute clip.
The
That's not
Bubble
a
Suns.
full-
Remember when they made the run and they were playing great, and then it came out that they all got sucked off at the same time?
I missed that.
He
So
was
this
playing-
is
he
I'm
was
just
playing.
giving
He
an
did- it was
example of
different.
what I would like to pick that I'm not going to pick out of respect to
Okay.
both of you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Thank you for that. I just
also made sure that like the last person was like, I'm going to give this guy a shot. They just turned it off and they're like, fuck this guy.
I just like that we just go from like this guy's this like Hemingway stand and he's really good at chest and then his first
Oh
movie choice is that.
man.
I've got to
All right.
Google some things later.
Yeah.
All right.
This-
All right, yeah, look, it says right here, Tom. It says Suns getting sucked off in their hotel room. I did it at like 1 a.m. last night.
All right, you're up. First pick.
Oh, I am?
Yeah, you
I don't want to
start.
go first.
No,
Guest
you have
always
to.
goes
No, I don't want to go
You have
first.
Guest
to.
always
It's not
goes
a,
first.
it's not an option.
There's an order to this shit.
We
All right.
sneak it.
You're our guest. You're on our show. You go first.
Okay,
motherfucker.
okay. I can guarantee right now none of my picks are, you guys will have none of my picks.
Okay. Guess we'll see.
Oh, man. Okay. I'm not going to go with the Suns getting All right, I'll go with this one you actually might have. I think it's time for a story. This could actually be probably the only pick I have that could be a documentary or also like a Disney movie. It's time for the Tebow Mania. It's the time for the Tebow Mania documentary. It's time for both the run in Florida, where it's like he won a national title with maybe the most criminals of all time on a singular football team. The Broncos run, just Tebow Mania and how it swept up the entire country. That run that he had with the Broncos still like blows my mind because they weren't good. He wasn't good. And they just kept on winning games. Yeah. And it was like it was one of those moments in time where it's like, we all are watching the same thing. We all know that he's not an NFL quarterback, yet they keep winning games and he's going to the playoffs. What is going on here? So I would like to see all of Tebow Mania.
I don't know what it says about me, the person, but when I think of Tim Tebow, I think about later on when he was trying to make a comeback and he kept putting up those photos of him shirtless in the rain.
Yes, fixing his throwing motion. Yes.
It was always raining and he was always shirtless.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't believe there's not some like weird like religious movie that's been made about him.
Right? Like you could make 3 different types of movie. You can make a Disney movie. You can make what is it? The 700 Club, that religious thing. Like you make that movie. You can make a documentary. I don't know. Tebow is a fascinating sports
Tebow
figure.
at Florida would have been amazing.
And the craziest part too is he's one of the best college football players of all time, and it didn't really work out in the NFL. So talking about all of that, I don't know if you'd get the true honesty from Tebow because it does feel like a little bit of a facade up at sometimes. But I would be very fascinated to get the whole Tebow mania. That Broncos run was insane just to get to the playoffs. And remember those, like some of those games, they were just like they beat the Bears on that run. I remember Marion Barber, that play. And he, like some of those games where the Broncos were completely lost and Tim Tebow would do something. You'd be like, this makes no sense. He's not good. He's not good at playing quarterback. How is this happening? So Tebow mania.
All right, I'm going.
You guys didn't like that pick? Do we not gas each other up?
I just wouldn't watch that movie.
Okay,
like,
all right, cool. All right, I'm going to go a different direction.
It's your first pick.
I think it's a good pick. I didn't know you were so passionate about Tim Tebow.
I wanted to know the tone. I wanted to know the tone of the draft. If we're
first round pick,
if we're trying to gas each other up or we're trying to break each other down, I will try to break you down.
Are you a programmer?
Oh, no, I said it was a good pick. I complimented you.
Tommy's getting broken down.
Are you a sports television programming exec? I feel like
I will break you down now, Tommy. I'm going to be up your ass on every one of your picks.
We didn't even shit on it. We just said like I wouldn't watch a Tebow movie as my first pick. All right.
Yeah, okay. A documentary I would.
I'm going one. I think it could be a great feature and a great documentary. The Portland Jailblazers.
Boring. No, I'd like to watch that.
It'd be amazing. Amazing.
Who is
Did you ever have any experiences with them?
With their players?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I played against them early on in my career.
No, but like, was it overhyped? Was that rep overhyped?
I'd have to go back and look at all the things that happened.
Yeah, there's a lot. Who is the Ruben Patterson, the Kobe stopper?
Yep.
Remember
Ruben
that?
Patterson.
Remember when he it was a playoff game, I want to say, and he had his feet in the ice bucket, and he was just saying like, "I'm the Kobe stopper. I'm the Kobe stopper," and Kobe put like 50 on him. It was just like, no, you're not, dude.
I think the NBA is always entertained. I think that there's always something happening in the NBA. Which I love.
Do you have a list of the roster or anything that we could?
Rasheed Wallace, Zach Randolph, Ruben Patterson.
I love Zach Randolph's game. I love
Bonzi
Zach
Wells.
Randolph.
Bonzi Wells. Yeah, Bonzi Wells. Bro, those guys, I mean, those guys were good at basketball too, bro.
That's what makes it fun is they're really good. They just couldn't stop getting in trouble.
Was Damon Stoudemire on that team?
Was Isaiah Ryder on that team?
Isaiah Ryder threw he put the ball through his legs, right? In the dunk contest?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the T-Wolves. That was a sick dunk.
I can already tell that my list sucks, by the way. I think I'm gonna get my two favorite ones out of the way early here. So Tommy's going Jailblazers. My first pick, I think it's time I could be a doc. I actually would like to see this as a movie, and that's the Yankees wife swap. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Oh, yeah. Good pick.
Fritz Peterson.
Great pick. Way better than Tommy's.
Mike Kekich, I think is his name. They were teammates on the Yankees, both married, and they announced in spring training in 1973 that they were swapping wives. And I found out there's some research today. Apparently Fritz Peterson and Mike Kekich's old wife, they're still married.
Yes.
Mike and
the new wife are
Fritz's wife they're not married anymore, but that relationship stood the test of time.
Yeah, which you would assume too, because it feels like anytime a wife swap happens, or maybe even like a swingers situation, I'm convinced that in a swingers situation, there's one guy or girl who's like, I'm not really cool with this. But I don't want them to think I'm not cool.
It's like an odds thing,
right? Yeah. Like I don't want to think that everyone's gonna think I'm a narc if I'm like, hey, I don't really want to watch my wife have sex with a dude. Like I gotta just play it cool.
That's a feature though, right? Not a documentary.
I think it's a feature. It's a feature.
I like that.
It feels like that could actually be a movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys watch Bling Ring, not the documentary that was on Netflix, but Bling Ring the movie?
I did not.
Okay. So that was like Emma Watson. Yeah.
Okay.
So my next pick could be sort of similar. You could probably make a feature film, or you could do a doc on it. But my second pick is Martin Ortega. He's the guy that went into the locker room and stole Tom Brady's Super Bowl winning jersey.
That's a good one.
I think a feature film around the 24 hours leading up to the game.
I think they're making one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I should be a producer.
Yeah.
I should be a producer.
I think they are making one. What a heist! What a heist by that guy.
I know.
Incredible.
Fascinating. I want to know the whole thing, the planning that went into it. Like I think it'd be an incredible movie.
Also,
especially if it was casted well.
I'd also love to know if the Patriots didn't win the Super Bowl, was he going to steal Matt Ryan's jersey? Right? Because that was the Falcons Super Bowl, right? So like the whole time, are you being like, I'm going to steal the Patriots, and then they're up 28-3, and it's like, I guess I got to steal Matt Ryan's jersey now?
What year was that?
I think it was 16 season, 17 Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You're right. That was my last year with the Clippers. You're exactly right.
Yep.
So that's
a good pick.
I actually have a similar pick that I'm going to take off the board now, just because I'm worried that his brain is going to work this way and he might pick it.
I'm guaranteeing you will not have any of my picks.
I'm picking Putin stealing Robert Kraft's ring.
Nope, don't have it.
Okay.
I like that
As
pick
another
though.
Feature. Got a little geopolitics action.
So Putin just
relevant right now, you know.
I also just, I mean, Robert Kraft kind of deserves a little blame there. Like, you can't hand a ring to Putin. Probably just gets gifts all day. If you let him see anything, he's gonna be like, all right, that's mine now.
Yeah, and it also feels like the extraction process of getting it back was always going to be complicated.
Yeah, they didn't get it back.
You're right. I don't think they did.
I'd like to see that as well. Okay.
You got two right now. You got back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Anticipation for what is about to come out of your mouth.
Another religious documentary.
This one's just going to be called Justice for Pete Gaudette. This is a documentary about the 1995 Duke Blue Devils and what happened when Coach K had a back injury and left a team that didn't make the tournament, but was still recruiting from his house with said back injury. And then Pete Gaudette got all the losses on his record, and Coach K said afterwards, I wish I could put it on my record, but I can't. I don't really know anyone who works at Duke who could change this for me. Oh, my daughter's like the AD. Justice for Pete Gaudette would be something. I will produce that documentary if need be.
I knew. It's funny because I had something down here about Coach K because I was just going to troll you. But I knew you were coming in with something about.
I mean, that's
some anti-Duke.
How do we not? We need more about what happened with Pete Gaudette. Poor Pete Gaudette just got L's on his record.
You're the worst, by the way.
I'm correct.
Said daughter's going to text me and be like, Dan is such an asshole.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Let's justice for Pete Gaudette. Just reply that. Just be like, all he wants is justice. I will not sleep until I get justice for this poor man who just got L's. I think his coaching record is like 3-15. She got L's. Take those L's.
Great pick.
This is going to be like cereal.
It's a good pick, actually.
When they get what's his name, Adnan, out of prison, I'm going to start a campaign, and then eventually I'm going to get Coach K to take those L's.
He says it's he's actually going to do it.
Yeah, no, and then I will. We finally can sleep at night. If he takes those ACC L's from 1995. Okay, it's a great pick by me. I would like to see a documentary about James Harden's strip club addiction. I would like to see that. Just what, like the advanced stats about how he plays in cities poorly when they have really good strip clubs. Maybe talk to some of the entertainers. I would like to see that.
I feel like this is like a feature-length documentary.
Yeah, oh yeah. You'd watch 90 minutes of that. Like the advanced analytics breaking it all down.
I mean, I guess you could also do it if it was like hidden cameras and it was like a little bit like
whatever you want to go, whatever direction. I would watch that. Yeah, because he clearly I want it on the record. I'm a sex positive guy. I don't shame James Harden, but I would like to know, like, what cities, how, what even the rumors that he wanted to go back to Houston, which were so funny. Like, what was it? A couple weeks ago, it was basically just saying like, yeah, the Philly strip clubs suck. Like, I need to get back to Houston.
Is Delilah still around?
In Philly? Yeah. Well, how do you know that name?
Truthfully. Delilah's was the last strip club that I ever set foot in.
Really?
Yeah. It was Jameer Nelson's like bonding week that he did every summer in Philly. And this was 2008. And it was probably late August. And I just remember that one of the strippers was from the town next to me in Virginia. So she and I were like chatting about Virginia. But the whole time, Chelsea and I were not dating yet. And the whole time I was like texting Chelsea, trying to get her to go on a date with me. So I had this memory in my brain of being.
Did you tell that story at your wedding?
No, I didn't. My brother told some stories that he shouldn't have at my wedding.
Oh, this is just a bonus pick. I would like to watch a documentary about Dwight Howard and his snakes. That guy has like 100 snakes, doesn't
I would
he?
watch that.
Yeah.
You've given out 2, like you've already picked 5 basically.
I have like 15 picks that I'll do honorable mentions at the end. But yeah,
I really think you've righted the ship a little bit after that weird Tebow pick.
I mean,
Like,
Justice
those
for
are
Pete Goddard is going to
it's
win an
classic.
Oscar. It's going to be
like
Godfather 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's like the OJ doc.
Yeah, right. Exactly. People are going to be like, oh my God,
All right,
what have
Tommy.
you done here?
All right, I'm going another feature. Doc, I feel like the doc route is too easy. I'm going 1986 Mets. So sort of similar to Winning Time, except doing it has to be long because there's so much to unpack with that team and that roster, but just doing like a 3-hour epic about the 1986 Mets and everything that they went through.
I think they made that.
Mm-mm.
You sure?
Positive.
What about the Dwight? Didn't they do it Dwight Gooden?
Mm-mm.
Dwight and Daryl?
Nope.
I think they did something.
They
Yeah,
might
I
have done
think
like
they
a boring
did. I think they
documentary.
did.
They
think
might have
they
done a boring
did.
documentary.
I
Not a
think
real,
they did.
not a real feature.
Because like I'll change my picks and be like, this OJ story is pretty interesting.
They should do a doc on the Redeem team, don't you think? Or maybe what if they did like a doc on Jordan? That's what they should do.
The Redeem Team doc, that clip where Coach K was like, this was the toughest loss in my life because they taped it before the 2022 season when he lost to UNC, his last game in Cameron and also in the Final Four. That was delicious. That was great.
I'm going to put an asterisk. Asterisk.
I just like you've gotten the look.
asterisk.
You've now gotten the look like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
in 40 minutes.
That's why I love JJ because I know I can get the look. Yeah.
I know what I signed up for
Yeah,
when
no.
I asked him to come over to my house.
We're
we're
both consenting adults here.
I'm going to put an asterisk. Asterisk.
Why? There hasn't been a feature about this. There's no asterisk.
Yeah, no,
I-
I'm saying
I-
there potentially
There
has
absolutely has been.
There has not been a feature
Okay, so-
film about it. There might have been a documentary about
mean,
it.
a
I'm saying I'm not
documentary,
making
yeah.
a documentary.
been. All right. Well,
So
anyways,
no asterisk.
I think
this
there's an
is where
asterisk.
my picks really start to drop off. So I think this is a doc because Winning Time did touch on this a little bit. And that obviously that was a series, but I would like a doc on drug use in the NBA in the 1980s.
Ooh.
I would like a full-length doc
Yep.
with some really honest people that described what it was like. I mean, we heard Jordan on The Last Dance talk
Yep.
about how his teammates were out in the streets, and players. We have this program that is available to us, and the 2 guys that run it, they have shared with us some of their own drug use, and I find it fascinating because I played in the NBA, and
You did?
yeah, no, I played in the NBA, and so
Never
trying
mentioned
to
that.
figure out how you are doing cocaine all night
And then playing, yeah.
and then playing the next day.
I like
Just
that.
commercial travel, like it's interesting.
Yeah, I like that pick a
Um,
lot because it does feel like a dark time that just doesn't get talked about.
I'm gonna save. I know I'm gonna get.
I
this.
see your top pick there, and I love it. Just do that one.
the top pick.
No, or whatever the third. Yeah, that one. That one.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. This is a Jason Gallagher special. Jason actually wants to make this movie. He wants to do a doc on Jim Boylan's time with the Bulls.
I'm in.
Yes.
How did that guy get a job? And his like quotes, the growth plates. Remember the growth plates?
Leadership Council.
Leadership Council.
There was a full mutiny. Mutiny.
And he was a bad head coach at Utah. And then he got that job.
He also had the job for a while.
Had the job for a while. He was
That's a
I
pretty
miss
dark,
him a little
is
bit. I miss him a little
Where does
bit.
that rank in darkest times in the Chicago sports franchise?
I don't know. That one's tough. I mean, because it did feel like there's no way out with this guy, but he's a fascinating guy. I would absolutely love to watch that documentary.
Yeah.
I mean, he just like when he do like the in between, like, after the first half, he'd be like, we gotta look into their souls and find a way out of this. Like, dude, no, you just gotta fucking play a little defense and get better players. Such a bad coach. He was such a bad coach. Oh my God, he was so funny. So
Oh,
fucking funny.
man.
And also, what would be interesting.
But this going back to the college NBA thing. I just want to say something. Like, this is where if your background is coaching college players
and bad at it. What was this?
that's so much of your coaching philosophy and your method of communication is based on appealing to some inner part of players' souls.
Yes.
And I just don't think it works in the NBA.
It definitely doesn't
NBA
work.
players want a tactical genius who has emotional intelligence that can tell them, here, I'm putting you in a position to be successful.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
He was 69 and 60 as a college coach. Not a very good college coach. And he became and the way he became the head coach would also be fascinating. Because there was like just a power struggle and him being kind of the lackey for Gar and Pax, like all that would be very fascinating.
You could probably start the doc because they were trying to get Hoiberg for a while.
Oh yeah,
and then they get Hoiberg. Jimmy doesn't like it. Jimmy asks out, and then there's just this snowball effect.
And you got. I mean, if you're the Bulls, you have to keep in mind like Jim Boylan. You have to. You can't let that walk out on the street.
Maybe this is a Gar Forman doc. You do like an 8 hours on Gar Forman, and these are all different chapters.
Imagine the Bulls just being like, we're denying you to interview for any other jobs. We can't have the brain drain of Jim Boylan leaving the building. He was like a bad college football coach coaching in the NBA. That's what he was. That's a great pick. Great pick.
Oh man!
All right, my fourth pick is a horror comedy. I'm gonna do Tiger Woods Thanksgiving with Tiger Woods.
Ooh, that's a good one. Shout out Charlie Woods. He's a big PMT fan. I want to get him on the show, not in a creepy way. He's like 13.
This is a feature film.
Feature film.
I
think you can make a million good films about Tiger, about his unbelievable career, one of the greatest athletes of all time. But I think this is a feature film, short. 85 minutes. You know, we think about like what perspective we tell it from.
Do you remember where you were when you found out about the car crash?
I don't. Was Thanksgiving?
I think it was because I was playing in Orlando at the time.
Yeah,
it's like seared into my memory.
Yeah, right. You're right down the street. The that whole thing was so crazy too because we're 15 years now, and we know Tiger has his faults as a human being, but at the time. That was the squeaky clean, like the perfect athlete, never had any controversies, never did anything wrong. And then that happened. It's like, wait, what?
It was also, and media was just different.
Yeah.
And so it's unclear how it would have gone down if it had come out today. But I feel like it might have been less of a story in a weird way because we're so oversaturated with shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like on all of the like nightly news and everything like that. Like it was a thing that was breaking through internationally.
And you could do a follow-up on the car crash in California where the cop was like, open and shut case. We looked at it and no one's at fault. Also, we're huge Tiger Woods fans. That one's still interesting. All right. But shout out Charlie. Charlie's the man.
You got two to close it out.
By the way, Dan, just pick your two. Okay, we'll get to the honorable mentions when we're all done. Yeah. We don't want anybody getting any ideas. You've already given us two great ideas.
Okay. All right, this one is the 2007 college football season needs a documentary or some type of story. It's the season where we had like the most upsets possible. It started with Appalachian State going into Michigan and winning at the Big House. It was a season that I think there were like Kansas was number 2 at one point. I think Boston College, I think Rutgers, like all these teams lost. It just kept on flipping. Like, number 2 USF loses to Rutgers. Number 2 Boston. This is all in like consecutive weeks. Number 2 Boston College loses to Florida State. Like the chaos of 2007 college football season. I don't think we'll ever get a season like that. Like, just think about that. The names like Boston College, Rutgers, USF was number 2, Kansas, Missouri was number 1 for a little bit there. That season lives on in lore for all college football fans, and getting like a full breakdown with highlights like, week by week would be awesome to watch.
Feels like a very personal pick.
Yeah.
Well, you guys probably have a bunch of
commercial film.
So far, every idea we put out, I'm like, I would watch that.
No, I'm going to disagree. I think
$419 on demand.
Listen, you guys aren't football guys. I understand it. You have your little basketball league.
I have a question about the 2000 college football season.
2007.
Yeah, 2007. I have a question about the college football season. Did Tim Tebow play that season?
Listen, I don't think that was Tebow. I think that was later.
No, I think
college
it was
football fans. No, it wasn't. No.
Yeah.
No.
I think JJ, look it up. Who won that year?
Maybe it might have been Tebow. Who did win that year? I mean, it was just the most chaotic year ever. I think it was.
He was quarterback from 2006 to 2009.
Okay, so he was the backup then, probably.
2 Tebow picks in 1 draft.
LSU won.
He
that
won the
year.
Heisman. In
that was
2007.
Les Miles' year.
Oh, LSU, that's a huge upset.
So there you go. That's perfect. It works perfectly with my first pick. The college football fans who are watching right now, they know exactly what I'm talking about. That 2007 year is iconic.
Who did LSU
It's
play in
insane. Ohio State lit them up.
Has Ohio State ever been good at college football? It's like so crazy.
Again, you guys aren't college football fans. It's fine.
It was the craziest season.
It's
LSU
fine.
and Ohio State played in the championship.
All right, here it is. A ranked team lost to a lower ranked or unranked opponent 62 times. Top 10 teams lost 29 times. The number 1 team lost 4 times. The number 2 team lost 7 times.
We get it. We get it.
No, you guys don't. I get it. You guys don't like college football. It's fine. All right. My last one is going to be, I want a documentary about the LeBron reply guys. I want to know everything about those guys. You know who I'm talking about. The guys who reply to every LeBron tweet like instantly, and they'll either be bashing LeBron or someone. Like I saw even yesterday, they were doing Josh Allen. They already moved on to Josh Allen. Here's one. LaFraud's path to 4 fake rings. 2012, needed Bosh and D-Wade to carry. Couldn't beat Dirk. 2013, needed Ray Allen to hit the most clutch shot ever. Everyone on the Spurs was old. 2016, needed Kyrie and K-Love to beat some 6'3 plumber. 2020, needed AD, needed the bubble. They reply like instantly. They have it all set up. They have their list, and they just sit on Twitter and they reply to every like tweet that's ever made by LeBron, Stephen A., anyone with these ridiculous arguments, and then they just get into an argument for the rest of the day. I would like to see the anatomy, like what's behind their brain.
This is a good idea because everyone, like, remember the Trump reply guys?
Yeah.
Like, everybody has these people, so you can keep picking, take the format and just
like, what are you thinking? Walk me through a day. You just have it copy and paste it on your phone, and you just have tweet notifications.
You get your coffee.
Yeah.
And
you're like, all right, time to go back to the coal mine and reply to all of LeBron's tweets. Here's another one I like. LaFraud has 0 real rings in my book. 2012, baby OKC team, Wade plus Bosh. I don't even know what that means, Wade plus Bosh.
Do you have reply guys?
Yeah, there's some. Yeah, I have some of them muted. 2013, Ray Allen, Wade plus Bosh. Again, I don't know what Wade plus Bosh means. 2016, Draymond suspension, Bogut injury. Now Bogut's become like the best player of all time. Kyrie, 2020, injured Heat, bubble, AD, Mickey Mouse. I just like those guys. They're something about them is like, I just want to talk to them. I want to sit down.
I would watch this. This is a good idea.
Yeah. 07, lost. 11, outplayed by Jason Terry. 12, Harden choked. 13, carried by Ray Allen. 14, sunned by Kawhi. 15, lost. 16, carried by Kyrie. 17, owned by KD. 18, owned by KD. 20, beat injured bubble frauds in Disney World. LaFraud is 0-10 in my book. Like, who? Those guys are fascinating to me. Like, it's just getting into the mind of like internet reply guys.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
This could be, that's an Oscar movie.
Yes.
Go real deep.
Yes.
Real deep.
So you guys aren't college football fans. That's fine. I should have gone with that my first pick.
Yeah.
I think that and Justice for Pete Gaudette are 2 winners.
I think Justice for Pete is the real winner of this crap.
Yeah.
All right, I got my last pick. I was going to pick 48 Hours with Rodman in Vegas, but it turns out they're making a movie about that.
Hey, you're just picking shit.
Yeah,
it's already been made.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been made yet.
fine.
It hasn't been made.
He went on Variety and Hollywood Reporter.
I'm not
like,
going to
what's
pick it.
being made?
I'm actually going. I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go with a few.
You should do
Technically, it hasn't been made yet.
Should we? Oh, what about a Fab Five documentary? That would be cool.
I'm going to go with a feel-good feature, actually, because there's been a lot of dark energy in this crap so far.
I've done nothing but light stuff.
I think baseball movies always do really well. There hasn't been a good baseball movie in a while, but some of the best movies of all time are baseball movies. I'm going to go with Jason Hayward's speech.
Oh,
in
which
the Cubs World Series. I feel
some
like,
reports say it might have been Anthony Rizzo's speech.
well, whoever gave
And
that
Jason
speech,
Hayward's contract had to be justified in some way, so a speech to win the World Series was that way.
whoever gave that, maybe you can be a consultant on this project. Whoever gave that speech, basically the Cubs
17 minutes? Was it 17 minutes?
Cubs
Yeah.
were down and out.
Yep. Rain
The
delay.
franchise was at a tipping point. Came in, lit it up. I feel like this could be like the new natural.
I like it. That's a good one.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's good.
We'll do that together.
Yeah,
That'd be a
yeah.
That'd be
We're
a
in.
fun. That'd
I'm
be a
in.
fun project.
Do either of you know who Dr. Alistair McKenzie is?
No.
No.
No. Okay. Little background on him. So I think this is a feature film about his life, a biopic.
Okay.
Biopic,
Yep.
however you say it. We talked about this earlier. We have no idea,
Mhm.
but we're going to go with biopic.
Biopic.
A biopic on
Yeah.
Dr. Alistair McKenzie. Dr. Alistair McKenzie was a civil surgeon
He then served in a war prior to World War I. During World War I, he actually designed camouflage for British soldiers. Post-World War I, he became the preeminent, really the first one, but the preeminent golf architect.
Okay.
And he designed Cypress Point. He designed Augusta. He designed Royal Melbourne. 3 of the probably 10 greatest courses in the world. It's not boring. It's an incredible story.
A guy making golf courses?
Yeah.
It's like fucking melatonin. Documentary form. I was with you for a minute there, and then I just was like,
what?
My brain just powered down.
What is this guy gonna do? The movie's about him designing.
The guy designed.
It's about him designing
Cypress.
golf courses.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna say the 2007 college football season is a personal pick, like what is this?
Have you ever seen pictures of number 16 at Cypress?
Who cares?
How do you make that? How do you make that cinematic?
But I see that there's this story about when he's designing Cypress. Number 16 is a 220-yard
So I decided
carry
to put
over
the hill over here, and then a couple trees here, and then I was like, "What? Well, we need a hole. Let's put the hole here." Documentary gets made.
That took a real
Not a
shift.
doc.
I thought it was gonna. What is the features even worse?
Oh my God! I'm bored to death, and we're just talking about it.
I just think Dr. Alistair McKenzie should get more love. That's all.
No. Remember when I shot a 72 at Shinnecock? That was sick.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
All right, we're
you
done.
texted me right after. You're like,
All right.
"Holy shit! I didn't know you were."
What'd you leave on?
Give me
What'd
some of your
you
honorable
leave on the
mentions.
cutting room?
All right. I want to see just one on Bartolo Colon, just one of the most fascinating guys out there. LeVar Ball and the Baller brand. I feel like we're about ready. Like say what you want about LeVar Ball, but he said that all 3 of his sons are going to go to the NBA. I know LiAngelo, middle son. You know, he's on a practice, but like he was kind of right. It's crazy. For all that we laughed, he was kind of right. His sons went to the NBA. Red Panda. I'd like to see that.
It's a good one.
The Kardashian curse.
It's a good one.
Start with fucking OJ. The Chargers is a franchise being cursed. I would really like to watch that. They don't get enough credit for being just like the most cursed franchise ever. Urban Meyer, Jacksonville Jaguars season.
I'd watch
Would
that.
love to watch that.
I'd watch that.
JJ, your Clippers teams, and I would kind of have a biased slant of how Chris Paul's like the worst teammate of all time, and Blake Griffin saved that franchise. So that would be that documentary. Thoughts? Okay.
Look again.
And then the time Joe Pa pooped his pants on the sideline. I would love to watch that. Do you remember that? He pooped his pants. He had to run off.
I just think, how do you make a 90-minute movie about Joe Pa pooping his pants?
I could definitely get.
It's like a 4-minute thing.
No. That one's a feature.
The other one I wanted, I just don't know. Like, I want a feature film on the Shannon Sharp Memphis Grizzlies melee, but told through the perspective of the cardigan.
Mm-hmm.
So
terrible sweater. Yeah.
It starts with like production.
Yes.
And then the stylist gets its hands on it.
Do you know how much that sweater cost?
Like probably like $5,000.
$3,100. Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Now it's going for over $5,000.
Jesus
We looked this up
Christ.
yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a good use of money.
That's a good one.
Ah, man, this has been a lot of fun.
I've enjoyed this very much. I don't think I'll ever get invited back, but I'd love to come back. I just want to say that I will accept any invitation back from you guys.
I think you might be a little highbrow for our audience, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to see people be like, this is disgusting. This guy's fucking worst.
I'm gonna go Google the Phoenix Suns. All right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
AJ Titties is her name, I think.